I'll make it up. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time on busy Saturday to um, come to this information session or this open house about the Redeemer Sports Fall 2023 season. And this is how we're going to go about our meeting. Let me go to the next slide. So we're going to start with a quick opening prayer. We'll do an overview of the Redeemer Sports, and then we'll talk about the updates to the sports arena and the 2023 season. And we'll also show you some things on the website. There have been some changes to the website. And then we'll do a Q&A right before we end the discussion. So I'll just open up with a quick prayer, and then so let's pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for all that you have done for us this summer. Thank you for last season that you have. We went through last season, no injuries, no incident. Everything went well, and our children went through the summer, no injuries, and we've heard a lot of good reports. And for those that went to Germany for 2 weeks, thank you, Lord, for allowing them to have a successful time there and a good experience. We ask you that as we talk about our upcoming season, that you'll be with us and that you'll go ahead of us for this season, and that everything that concerns us will be well. Thank you for all that you will do with us, through us, and in us throughout this season. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Okay,
Amen.
so I know there may be a few people that are new to the Redeemer Sports, so I'll start with a quick overview of what the Redeemer Sports is about and the way that we operate. And so the mission of the Redeemer Sports is to provide a family-friendly, Christ-centered environment where children or players can grow in their character and athletic ability. And to do this, we develop competitive student athletes through quality coaching and a focus on sportsmanship, teamwork, and personal excellence. So something that I would like to point out here, our coaches are all certified. We do not, there's a slight difference between what we offer and what some others may offer. All our coaches actually coach in competitive programs. They're either coaching in schools that are doing well in the athletic programs, or they're just certified and are committed to coaching. Some other programs have parent coaches, who may not be experienced in coaching, but they just have a love for the sport. What we do is the coaches run the program, but the parents are available to assist, but the coaches are in charge during the sports programs. So we'll talk about, I want to just go a little bit more into the mission. So family friendly, we want all our parents to feel comfortable and enjoy being part of our sporting community. And Christ-centered, we emphasize Christian values and principles. That means in our programs, the coaches will never use a vulgar language on any child or will never berate any child. That's something that is very important. And after practices, we do have a short prayer and some kind of words to encourage the children. So that's something that is important to us. In a competitive environment, we create a competition to help players develop and grow their talents and skills. And that's why this season we're going to have, the goal right now is to have every age group. We have, I think U7 is the lowest age group. So every age group is going to take part in external competition in the Texas Youth Soccer League. We'll go into that in a bit. We'll go into more detail about that later on. And we want student athletes. So something that Coach Ade always tells the players, if you want to be a good athlete, he expects you to be a very good student. So we want to make sure that students are excellent in academics as well. We just don't want students that are really good sports athletes, but are not doing well in school. That's not something we encourage. So there are times during the season that Coach Ade will and all the other coaches have sessions where they hold children accountable to making sure that they're also producing in the academics. And then quality coaching, we provide excellent sports instructions and training. Like I said earlier, all the coaches we have in the program are certified coaches and they're trained. Sportsmanship, teamwork, and personal excellence. We want our children to make sure that they're developing the right character values so that outside of their sports environment, they are also good ambassadors of the program. So our values: sportsmanship, leadership, teamwork, commitment, and excellence. So before I go further to the next slide, there's an area that I want to emphasize, and that is commitment. This season, we would like, one of the areas we have struggled is sometimes we don't get the right amount of commitment. And sometimes it's maybe parent schedules or anything like that. But what we want our parents to understand also is that when they play as part of a team, they learn together, they grow together. If one player is missing from their games, sometimes it throws the whole team off. There have been games that were winnable, that because maybe one of their players that they depend on for maybe defense or attack just did not show up, it actually threw the team off and they lost the game that they could have won. So, and sometimes it demoralizes the players that are, doing their part, and the families doing their part to make sure that their children are available for every practice and every game. And the other thing is that when we see players at practices and they don't show up to games, it doesn't really look good on the program that we're trying to run. So we want to make sure that parents are as committed as their children are to making sure that the children are available to practices and to games. So we'll talk about Q&A later on. So previously, we offered just soccer and youth table tennis. And this fall, we're going to have a few more programs available to our players and their families. We have soccer, we have youth table tennis, and we also have adult table tennis. So if you're an adult, and for us, adult is anybody 18 and above, and you're interested in learning this, how to play table tennis, we're going to have a league where you're going to be a part of. You can be a part of that. And we are offering outdoor tennis. So some people call it lawn tennis. We're also going to be having outdoor basketball, volleyball, track. And this season, we're adding chess to our offering. And I'll just talk about it a little bit later on. I'll just say right now, there is a chess, the coach we have for chess is currently running a tournament right now in Katy. And it's pretty interesting. I went there this morning just to kind of see what they're about and what the tournament is about. And it's well attended. And so that's the coach that will be coaching our children. Yes. So right before this season, we had just the soccer coach and the table tennis coach, and we had assistant coaches there as well. But right now we're onboarding tennis coaches, basketball coaches, and Coach Ade will talk about it briefly once I'm done listing the type of the coaches that we have. We're also onboarding volleyball, track coaches, and we have already onboarded our chess coaches. So Coach Ade, you want to just kind of give the parents an idea of the kind of coaches that we're looking to onboard for these new programs that we're adding to our offerings?
Okay. Well, thank you very much. First, I will just put a little emphasis on the value. And I'll just pick one before the commitment. The teamwork, like you said, without the parents committed to it, there's no called teamwork. And the players too will train them to be as a team. not as individual player in any of our sports. And also that's where we get our leadership from it. Because when your team is together and they know the value of our association, our club, they know commitment is very important. Now, we've been talking about this commitment for a long time. And really now where we are going now, before any parents register, I want to let them know now, commitment is the key for us. If your son or your daughter did not come to practice, if it's because of education, let's say they have a homework to do that will not make them to pass, we understand. I mean, that's for a while. Or if your son or daughter is sick, you don't expect him to come to practice. Or if he has a doctor's appointment, we don't expect him to come to practice. But apart from all that, if they just don't show up, they're in practice, then they come to game. Number one, the coaches I'm going to get, that's why I want to start from commitment. Like we've done in the past, we got a coach for basketball. The first day, everybody was there. Second day, 1 week, everybody was showing up. Later, people don't show up again. Even in soccer, when we first started soccer, people don't show up. And the coach just said, listen, I don't belong here because there's no commitment. And I don't want that to start now. If you're not going to do it, please don't register. If you're going to have only one team, I know I'm going to one team. I don't want to have 10 teams and the coaches I'm getting from outside, they've been paid. If I sign them for the season, they're going to pay for the whole season, either I show up or not. And I don't want them to say, okay, even apart from the money given to me, I don't see the students. They show up today, they show up tomorrow, and the parents want them to win, or they want them to do better. And it's most of these sports, apart from table tennis, that's individual sports, apart from track, that's individual sports or chess, but the other ones are team games. Before you sign up, if you commit to it, that I'm going to bring my son or my daughter there, please, let's do that right. Because all these coaches I'm going to bring, they coach in schools. They are certified. They're going to get paid. And if we sign them up and we don't show up, we're still going to pay them. That's why our decision is that it's not that because you need your money. If you pay, you have to show up. If you don't show up, you still have to pay. But I don't want you pay and don't show up. I don't want that. I want a team. And I want your son and daughter to enjoy a Christian environment. There's a lot of clubs out there. People want to play. Everybody have the right to go and play in any club they want. But our value, we're going to stay by it. We're going to train them in the professional way. I'm going to train them for Christ through sports. That's what Redeemer Sports stands for. But if you're going to do that, we need all your players. We need your commitment. Because these kids cannot come by themselves. Parents have to bring them. Please think twice before we get into this. That's why we've not been, we don't have a lot of teams for years because we've already changed that we're going to make sure commitment is there. And if they don't show up and they just show up for game, we will not let them play. Or if they're late to practice or they're late to games, we will not let them play. So think about it before you sign them on. We don't want to be other clubs that just have 1,000 children, 500 children, and they don't care. They already get your money. But we are committed to the players and to the family community that we're going to do this and we're going to do it. And I promise you by God's grace, we're going to make sure we do the best for our children. But we need the support of the parents. So for tennis coach, we're going to get a coach from outside. From basketball, we're going to get a coach from outside. From volleyball, I'm going to get a coach from outside. Before I commit my life to them, myself to them, that, okay, come and coach in the Redeemer Sports. We have our boys, we have our girls that's going to do this. Commitment is the key because they will not show up again when they don't see the number because it doesn't help their profession too. Like as a coach too, if I don't see player, I see them in practice, they don't show up to game, it makes me upset. Because I say, why do they come to practice, they don't want to come to game? Or why they want to come to game alone, they don't want to come to practice? Or why are they coming late all the time? Even the kids will be upset too all the time. Why am I the one coming late all the time? Even their teammate will say, why is he coming late all the time? So we're talking to adults now. We're talking to parents. Please, if you want to do it, we are ready to train your child in the sports you want to play in a Christian way and in professional way too, that they will learn the game. Because our environment is very, very Christian-like. So that's what I'm going to talk about, parents and commitment and the coaches. I'm going to see the numbers of how many students sign up for esports before I commit myself to the coaches. For example, if we have enough for basketball, we'll get a coach. If we don't have enough for volleyball for now, we're not going to do it. I'm not going to see only 5 sign up. And I need coaches because they're not going to come for 5 players. So until we get the number, we might do in-house, means we still get them together, they still having fun. But until I commit to a professional coach that does their job, I'll have to have the number. Track is okay. You can say you have 5 track athletes that want to track and field. I mean, it's going to be like a private lesson. Yeah, that's okay. But volleyball is a teamwork. You need numbers. Basketball, you need numbers. Soccer, you need numbers. Tennis can be individual. You can have 4 or 5. So why they pay for the price? It's going to be like a private lesson. We can get that done. Okay, track, we can get that done. Chess, you can get that done. But volleyball, soccer, basketball is a teamwork. I need numbers. And the numbers we get will make us to form the team. And by God's grace, we are ready to do our best for our children. And I'll say thank you for that.
Thank you, Coach Ade. So the field updates, Coach Ade will talk about the fields shortly. So right now we have 3 fields. The largest field has actually been updated with artificial turf. And there's just a few, it's ready for use, but there are a few things that have just been added to it. We have a smaller field, which will be all grass, and the new grass has been planted, and I believe that one too is ready for use. We have the 3rd field, which will be artificial turf, and Coach Ade will just talk about that for a second to kind of give us an understanding of how that turf will be used for volleyball, tennis, and basketball, and it will also in instances where we need to play soccer and all the other sports are not being played, that becomes a field that is available for soccer as well. So Coach Ade.
Okay, so on this part of the field that we call for basketball, long tennis, volleyball, is outdoor. The kind of stuff they're going to put there, I mean, for long tennis, you can play tennis on the floor. You can play on the grass. Volleyball, you can play on the grass. You can play on the floor. But for basketball, we have to have a condition where the ball can bounce and play. So the top they're going to put in there is going to be top that basketball can bounce on it and use it for basketball. And also we can play soccer on it. It's going to be multi-purpose. We're using it for outdoor, multi-purpose outdoor. And that's where we're going to be. And they're practicing outdoor in the evening. And when they're going to play all their tournament, like basketball, with the league going to play, it's going to be different league. That's going to be indoor. But for now, what we have at our place now is outdoor basketball practice. Tennis is outdoor. Volleyball, you can play outdoor, but mostly the girls want to be volleyball indoor. But for right now, what we have is outdoor. And then until we get where we're going to get to indoor, we can cross that. But for our kids to play, because most of them have been complaining, what we have is only soccer. So, but then we try to find a way for them to play. That's why we're trying to do it in the turf where it's conducive for both sports. And that's what we're going to use for now.
Okay, thank you so much. So we'll run through the season. The fall 2023 season will start on August 14, and we'll run till December 9 of 2023. And we're going to have soccer started on the 14th. Soccer, table tennis also will be available on the 14th, and chess. But basketball, volleyball, tennis will begin on the 21st. We'll also have all our training for soccer will remain on Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 to 7:30 at the TKP Sports Complex. The training for chess will happen on Sundays because we noticed last season that some players wanted to participate in chess, but they also wanted to do soccer. But most of our games happen on Saturdays for soccer, and the chess was happening on Saturday. But now that the chess program is part of the Redeemer Sports, we'll have it on Sundays from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then for players that are in multiple sports, they can go right from the chess to the soccer there's a combined Maracana and Redeemer Sports game or practice on Sundays at 6 p.m. And the training days for the other sports will be communicated in the near future once we have all the fields sorted out. So the current plan is to have several teams. And like Coach Ade said earlier, we need numbers in order to have these teams. And each of these teams we have to pay out some money to the league for those teams to actually play in the league. And so right now we're looking at the potential of having a U7 team, U9, U10, U13, and U14 competing in the Texas Youth Soccer League. We had that last season. It's a leisure league, but it's extremely competitive. And so it's to expose the children to competition so they can understand what it's like to deal with victory and what it's like to deal with defeat. Is all part of their journey to being a good student athletes. And registration with the Texas Youth Soccer League ends on August 18, 2023. So anyone who does not register before then will be able to participate in all our practices and training. But the way that the Texas Youth Soccer League is set up, when we register the players, we give their names, and any player whose name is not on the list will not be permitted to play any game in that league. So we are recommending that we want to have all our players registered by August 15. And I think if Marek is here, can you just spend like a minute or two kind of talking the parents through what it takes to register, because it's not as straightforward, it's not that easy, it takes days.
Well, yeah, so I need to reach out to the league to see what information they're going to need, because this year, based on the feedback that they got the past seasons, they're having a different group run the league this year. So it's possible, you may want to get your child's birth certificate handy. A few years ago, if you played with us, one of the leagues we're in, they required that. So yeah, the dates, the league will start their season September 9th. And they've said right now that it looks like the games are going to be played at Bear Creek Park, which is north of, it's like on Eldridge, north of I-10. There's a huge complex there. And that's where they said all of the games would be. They didn't say when the season ends, but I imagine it's probably going to be sometime around November 4th for that league, even though the TKP season, we're going to continue on, like Nduka said, into December. So yeah, after I get more information, I'll pass that along. But one thing I will reiterate, that Coach Ade and Nduka said is the commitment piece, and it is a lot. Some of your kids may also be playing on school teams as well, and it is a huge commitment from everybody, and it really takes it's our community, and it takes a lot to succeed. And we've had some frustrations in the past because like I said, maybe we didn't have enough subs to play, and that's something this year that we want to change, because we have a great set of coaches, we have a great set of boys, and we think they can do great things. So yeah, we'll be asking you guys for help throughout the season, but the major thing is, please bring them to practice, bring them to games, and if you can't, let us know. We'll figure out a way. The important thing is to get kids to practices and games.
Thank you, Marek.
Okay, let me add something to the registration.
Okay.
He said U7.
Mm-hmm.
The U7 is going to be from 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, and that one we're trying to make sure we're working on it. I just talked to Mauricio. We want to work with the league to come and use our field. That means we're going to have our in-house league. They're going to practice there and play there, and their league will be on Fridays. So we want to get that one on now. That's only U7. That means 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. So when they get into U9, U10, then they're going to play in TYSL league.
Okay.
And to play in that TYSL league, like Marek just said, numbers is very important to register them. For example, the U9, I think they play 5v5, okay, and or 6v6. They need at least 8 per team or 9 because of sub.
Yeah. So U7 is 4v4, no goalies.
No goalies.
U8 is 5v5 with goalie. U9 and U10 are 7v7 with goalies. U11 and U12 are 9v9. And then the older kids, U13 and up, those are 11v11.
Okay, thank you for that. And the U14 we're talking about, I'm talking about the boys that travel with me now. Maybe we're trying to get our U16 up too, because some of them are 14 and 15. So maybe we're going to get U16 team, get them ready. And also there's going to be a team that's going to be just for the U16, U17. We're going to call it college showcase, because most of those times they're already in 11th and 12th grade. So we're going to have our own team that's going to be for college showcase only. They can play. We're going to get players from outside. They can play for any of their clubs. They can play for Albion. They can play for anybody. But we're going to have our own team called College Showcase, where we can showcase them to colleges. And that one is a tournament. It's a tournament that will come later during the season. And the final one I'm going to add is about when the season finishes in November. Mostly the season finishes in November before Thanksgiving. Why we're still going to practice till December is this. There's going to be tournaments in between after November, or Thanksgiving tournament, or they're going to do those one December tournament. So that's why we're still going to be on till December 9. So to play those tournaments. Those tournaments is very good for our team. So that's why we're going to be till December. Okay, that's what I want to add on for the season. So
okay. Thank you, Coach. And thank you, Marek. And so we'll talk about some payment options. So generally our payments have been through, and in the past we had Zelle and all the other stuff. So now we're going to credit debit using PayPal and Stripe. All the transactions are going to be on our website. The way the website is set up right now, if you don't pay, it won't even let you register. So there are some things that I got some feedback and I shared it with Coach Ade, and Coach Ade is going to talk about the different payment options that we're going to be adding to the site. One of them is the one-time payment, which is what the site has right now. And then we're going to also include payment plans for those parents who want to pay, don't feel they can handle that expense one time. And so before Coach Ade talks about the payment plans part of it, we are going to be offering some discounts for players that are paying for the whole year. So the year is from August to May. So we have fall and then we have spring. So if you pay for the whole year, you'll get a 5% discount. Also, if you have a child that is going to take part in more than one sport during the season, you will also enjoy a 5% discount for enrolling for 2 or more sports. So I'll let Coach Ade have the floor to just kind of talk us through the payment plans option for those who want to pay that way.
Okay, thank you. The payment plans is happening in all clubs, but we're going to make our own a little bit easier and affordable. If your son is going to play for the whole season with us, like he said, we can give 5% discount. If you have more than 1 or 2, or they are registered 2 sports, like let's say your son is going to play basketball and soccer, or any 2 sports, we give you, you are qualified for the 5% also. And if you want to do the monthly payment, which we're going to allow to do, but that monthly payment, you have to pay within the 6 months before the year ends. Like, let's say we start in August. Your payment plan will start from August to December. That by December, you already pay for the whole year. So your payment will be double. Means that to pay monthly, you pay by December, then you already pay for the spring. And now let me make it easy. There's some kids that want to play soccer alone, and we don't have the sports they want to play. Like they want to play baseball. I don't know that sport. They want to play lacrosse. that is in the spring, and they just said we want to play soccer. That's fine, but we're going to get to the stage that we want to keep those kids that want to play only 4 together, because if you allow them to play soccer in the fall and they're not going to be with you in the spring, that means we're going to be short and as player in the spring. Maybe we're not going to have enough player, and it's not good for the kids that play soccer throughout the season, throughout the year, fall and spring. So if your son is going to play only in fall, you might end up put them in the one that play fall only. So, and I don't want a parents to say, why my son is not in that competitive teams? Because those one are committed to play fall and spring. It's fair enough to say, okay, all fall and spring play together, because you don't want to mess up their team, their group. But if you said, okay, it's going to play fall and spring, but what if you want to go and play baseball? If you can juggle it, so far you don't miss practice, it doesn't miss game. That's fine. But we'll not allow you to mess up the team because he's playing baseball somewhere. We want him to play baseball. But so we're going to just select him for players that play in the fall, not play in the spring. So, and that one is part of what I just need to add to it. On the payment plan, I think you all get it. To pay every monthly, yes, we can do that. But you have to pay spring and fall by December every month. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Coach. There will be time for Q&A on any topic that parents have once we finish the presentation. And the final thing, I just wanted to show everyone the new website. There are some changes to the website, and I just want to walk you all through it. So give me a second. Let me pull up my browser, and I'll pull up the website. Okay, so let me share that. Okay, so website, theredeemersports.org. So right now you can, once you hit this enroll, it allows you to sign into your account or create a new account if you're a new user. I just want to let everyone know, if you signed up on anything on the old website last season, that system was not functioning properly, so it got completely scrapped. And so there's a completely new website, and in here you have a lot of control on what you can do. You have account details and all of that stuff that you can we can do here. And in a little while, we'll also add a lot of accessories that are Redeemer Sports, like bags, soccer balls, track suits, and all of that stuff that you may find useful as well. And under here, we have orders here. Pretty much, you can come here to the shop right here, and you will see all the offerings that we have. So anything about monthly plan isn't here yet, because that's something that was brought about based on some feedback we got from parents. So all of the information here, and what you would see is that for players that are new, there's a different rate than those that are current or returning players, because the new players have to pay for we have to include the cost of their jerseys and their balls and all of that stuff that the current players already have. So the information here. And for those who have their businesses and they like to support the Redeemer Sports, you have opportunity for sponsorships here as well. And these are the packages that are available and what you get with each package. And something that if you come in here, there are all the different sports and just some more information about each sport. You can find that here. And the one thing that we have always wanted to do, and I think a parent had asked before, like a little while ago, is how do we know what is going on in the academy, and that is right here in our events. You can see right now there's like I told you earlier, there's a chess championship going on in Katy right now, and so that's here. And this is all what we're going to attempt to do is everything that is going on the Redeemer Sports. If you come to the website, if you come to our website under events, you will find every activity that is going on at the Redeemer Sports. One feature here, this one right here is set up so that if you had come here and clicked on this, it would have taken you to Zoom directly. And this also is set up such that if you click on this, for example, and you're not sure where we are, you can actually just type your address right here, and it will give you directions to where that event is going to happen. So this will be especially useful when we start playing in the league, in the Texas Youth Soccer League. So if you're not quite sure how to get to the location, all we have to do is this part of the website is flexible so that we can actually use the latitude and the longitude of that location to get you the address, or the specific street address to get you to that location. So that's something that we're going to do, because I know there were one or two instances last year where we put the updates to the arenas or the fields where the games were going to take place, and some parents had an oversight and did not pay attention to that, and they went to the wrong place. So this is what we're going to try to do to make sure we can get past that. And so this has been a big win for us. I know Marek probably happy then, because he's always having to send directions to every single place we have to go. So this is going to be self-serve for all our parents. And so that's something I wanted to share. And I'll open it up for Q&A now so that you can ask any questions. I just want to have a disclaimer. There may be some questions we may have to come back with you. We may have to come back to you with answers. We may not have all of them, but we will definitely take note of the questions and work towards getting you a concrete answer to the question. So I'm going to leave the floor, open up the floor for questions, and whoever has a question, you can either raise up your hand or you can just go ahead and ask a question.
Hey, Coach Ade, so with the new turf field, are they still able to use the same cleats, or do they need different shoes for the turf field?
Yeah, they can use their cleats.
Okay.
They can use their cleats. They can buy turf shoe. The cleats, you can use any cleats on that turf field.
Okay.
Okay. DBC Lawal, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. So my question is regarding the basketball and the other sports that we're yet to decide on. Do you know how soon we'll hear back so that we can make a decision as not to miss out on the deadline, which is August 18? And my second question is, for tennis, how young can the player be for tennis? Yes. Thank you.
Okay, let me answer that question about tennis. Tennis starts from age 6, age 7, age 8. They can start. We're going to get a coach that's going to be like develop them. Now, that's a good question you asked. Like I said, it's an individual sport. If we don't have numbers, 1 or 2 or 3 can still play tennis by training them. So that one starts from age 6.
And the second question was about the basketball. So the Texas Youth Soccer League, that one is just for the soccer programs. The other basketball programs, those are not finalized just yet. We will provide some more communication. I know Coach Ade was working on that before he traveled to Germany for the last 2 weeks. So I think he'll have a bit more time to finalize that. And once we have once we finalize that, we'll definitely share the information.
But right now, I can say something to that.
Okay.
Now, if the field is ready for everything to play, before we get the number, we can get a coach to be doing a private lesson for them while they're practicing and get our teams together. I mean, at the beginning, that's where it's supposed to be. When we start soccer, that's how we started. We start doing practice, When we get a number, then we'll get into the league. Because you can't get to the league until we see we have a good players. I mean, not good player, we have a team to play before we can put them in the league. So the bottom line is that if the field is ready, basketball is ready, but we need numbers to start. If it's going to be just practice every Mondays and Wednesday until we get our team together.
Thank you.
Thanks for the questions. Okay, Buki.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Coach Ade, you kind of partially answered my question because my question was, isn't a league where they play competitively? Because I know my son is interested in soccer, and I know he's not that good. He's not good enough to play competitively. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, is it going to be playing in the league, or is there going to be like, I don't know.
How old is your son?
It's 10.
Okay, now, not just for you, just for all the parents. We are into this to develop player. Like I always tell them, I'm not a coach, I'm a developer. And I want my coaches to be the same. We are developer. If your kids don't know how to play, we're going to develop him to the point where he can play good. We are not sending any kids away because they're just starting and they don't know how to play. Or this, we have a team that's been playing before. That's why we're going to put them in the bracket they belong. The one that's been playing before and the one that's just starting, we'll put them together. You'll be surprised. A kid that just starting in 1 or 2 seasons, it might match up the one that's been playing before for a long time. So that's why we're not in the business to say, oh, you're not good, we don't want you. We want all the kids out to do sports and we'll put them to where they belong and we'll develop them to the right place.
All right, that makes sense. Thank you.
See if there are any other questions. Okay, I think Jay, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Quick question. When you know the tennis schedule, do you know what days the practice will be for tennis?
Okay. When you see how many people register, then we'll put our days and times together. Definitely it's going to be in the evening. When we see numbers, that's when we're going to put the time we're going to practice here.
Okay. And what's the youngest for tennis? The youngest age? I'm not sure if you've mentioned it. Pardon me if you have, but what will be the youngest age? 6.
Tennis 6.
Okay, and the oldest? Do you have a cap on the age?
We don't have a cap on the age because remember it's an individual sport. We just going to get a coach and schedule them where they're going to do their practice. But we want from that age, to 16.
Okay, all right.
That's to 16. That will be when you are 18, 17 now, you're going to college, you are done. So we want to develop them as early as possible.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Are there any other questions? Okay, Michael.
Yeah, like you said, I want to emphasize on it again. We have parents that is with us right now, and we'll be looking help from the parents that have businesses and all that stuff. Something is going to come up on our field that if you want us to market your, promote your market or business, we're going to have a sign. I'm going to talk to you about it on our field, and that will be like, we want to sponsor the club, we want to sponsor the association. So that was going to come up, and we're going to put on our website what's going to be a cost to sponsor and how long the sponsorship is going to be. Because if you sponsor the club and we put your banner on the field, it's going to last for 1 year or 2 years. So we'll put that on the website, start thinking about it because it takes a lot. If you're going to get them to where we want them to be, because our coaches are going to that's their job. That's what they do. So that's why we're going to need some help from parents that have businesses so we can promote their business on our website, on our soccer field. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Michael, thank you. Up next.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My question is on the chess club. For the few of us that is already part of the chess system, that we got kids that are already part of the chess system that are go to practice. But of course, we have to all stop because it was clashing with the schedule for the soccer. And I mean, it's a brilliant idea that it's starting on a Sunday this time and everything is all together. But where I have a problem is this. Initially, the major problem has always been the turnout. People coming for practice and all of that. But I'm looking on the website right now and I'm trying to enroll and something doesn't seem clear to me. Okay. Because it's a big jump from where we are to what I'm seeing right now for enrolling. And I'm trying to look at it and weigh it. Would this still encourage people to come out if we're trying to get numbers for people to come out, or would this discourage them some more? So we don't start when we know it's going to fail. So that's just my observation in terms of the pricing from where we are and the big jump that I'm seeing here.
Okay, so let me talk about that for a second. For the chess, let me go look at it. Okay, so so a lot of these numbers were in collaboration with the coach, and remember that this price here is actually for the whole season. So it's roughly for 4 months of training for the children. So it's not for 1 month. I asked the coach and he thought this was pretty decent and pretty fair for what he was going to do with the program. So I'll take that back and discuss it with him again and see kind of because I don't know the details of what the current rates are, but I asked him before we came up with a pricing scheme what he wanted, and he thought this was good enough. So I'll follow back up with him. Thanks for the question. Okay.
Yeah.
The wife.
I just wanted to quickly mention, I know we're talking about tennis. I just wanted to make sure we are clarifying if is it lawn tennis or is it table tennis? No, the parents asking questions, because if it's table tennis, then I know the season, I mean, does that affect the age group of when you start and when and also timeline? So just wanted to mention that as far as clarification. Are we saying table tennis or lawn tennis?
Thank you for the question. I don't believe it would make a difference in terms of the age for when they can start. I know that originally, let me look at what we have for table tennis. Okay, table tennis, I believe we just need to make a change on the website. The website has 8, but I believe we're supposed to open it up for 6-year-olds as well. So I just need to make a change there. Thanks for the question.
Okay, to add to it, if you look at it, you can go to any website, any club or that train table tennis or lawn tennis. They start at 5. And I don't like 5. I mean, to start, I want to start at 6. If 6 is too small for a start, we can put it to 7. But to learn your basic skill in any sport is between age 6 to 9. Any sport. You might think like, oh, they're too small, but to learn your basic skill, let me use an example of what I coach, soccer. If you're learning your soccer, when you turn 10, you want to start playing soccer, you know how to play. You get the skill, but you not compare to somebody that started at age 5 or 6. But not that the 10 years old know how to play. But we're talking about the full steps. Even the same thing in basketball, handling of the ball. You can see all the players that played. If you go to YMCA, you go to all this basketball, you can see 5 years old. There's 5-year-old league. There's 6-year-old league. That's when they learn their basic skills. So from 10 to 12, then you train them well. By the time a kid turns 13, you want to play soccer. I'm sorry to say this, it will be hard. 10 to 12 see have an advantage, but 6 to 10 have more advantage. So, but when you say 13, I want to play soccer, maybe basketball, they can start at 13, but soccer at 13 is too late.
Yeah, you're right, sir. Even basketball, 13 is kind of late already.
It's too late.
I agree with you, sir.
So is it better to start early and you think they're just messing up? No. They're not messing up. They're picking. By the time they turn 8, 9, you can see the skill they already pick up. So that's why we're going to start them so early age. And that's it. We are not a coach. The one I'm bringing, we are a developer. We want to develop them.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Michael, is your hand still up, or did you just forget to put it down?
No, I'm sorry. I forgot to put it down. I'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
But Anduka, again, let me talk to the parents that's here now. We're going to be needing a parents coach. Means that, what I mean parents coach, we train them because, see, for example, we're going to a soccer game and we have 2 different age groups and you want your trainer to be there. We need a parents that we can coach, that can be along with us, because we're in practice. We can just tell you, the day of the game, we need you here to just get the player together to make sure they warm up before the trainer gets there. Because now when we get to a state that we're going to have too many teams to coach, your trainer for that U10 cannot be there for U13 game if their game is at the same day, the same time. So we make a parents that want to be like a volunteer with us, that he can be with the game all the time because your son is playing there. We just tell you what to do. And during our practice, we just tell you what and what to watch on. The only thing is that even there's a coaching, there's a class for all the parents, which I can bring aboard on that, we can bring along. For all the sports, there's a parents that can go to that classes. I think the classes are 3 hours or 4 hours, and they learn the basics of how to help their team in the game. That's what they do in all clubs. I can bring them along. I mean, I can bring them to our club, to our station, to the Redeemer Sports, when there's a class for parents that just want to learn the sports and how to coach. Not train, to coach means you are at the game, you can put everything together, warm them up before the trainer gets there. Or sometimes you can be at the game too. We just give you what to do at the game. This is a lineup, this is what to do, and then there's a lot like that we can do. So we're going to add that on it.
Okay, thank you. Michael?
No, I don't have a question. I'm sorry.
Oh, your hand is up. That's why I thought you had it down and then you brought it back up. So I thought you had a question. All right. Okay. Thank you all. Is there any question before we go?
I have one more question. I'm sorry. I apologize if you've mentioned this before. But for those people that want to do installmental payments, do we see you separately, or is that option on the website?
It's an option we will implement, but if you want to get started with that, we can definitely have a discussion with you.
Okay, perfect. And I also have, this is more of a concern, not a question. Okay. If the what's it called? Whatchamacallit? The practice or whatever it is, if it's starting in August and it's outside, it's really hot right now. What plans do you have for the kids? It's really hot. I'm sure you know that. Like, are they going to be playing outside? Are they, I don't know. Do you have plans? Did you think about that? Did you consider the weather right now?
Okay, I'll answer that.
Thank you.
Now, all the club in Texas start at the same time, and all the club play outdoor. At that time in August, I know it's hard. That's why we put it later in the evening. And we know how to control that in practice. Like we do summer camp. Right now, I do summer camp. It's hard, but kids are in summer camp. But we know how to correct it. Water every 20 minutes, go and drink water. We put them out to rest. We know how to correct that. If you wait until the weather is good to start practice, we're going to be behind because all the club in Texas start practice at the same time. And we don't want to be behind. We don't want to wait till September before start practicing. They're going to beat us. We're not going to be competitive. So the weather issue, we control that while they're in practice. And it's only you or I, as a parent, that will say, if you ask the kid, they'll say, I want to play. But as a parent on the field, as a coach, we know how to control that it's not going to be too hard for them, like just play throughout. Because we tell them to go and get a drink, go and rest a little while, and by the time you see it, practice is over. So I understand what you say. It's a good question. As a parent, you have to ask that question. It's a very good question, but we control that as a coach, as a trainer, as a parent on the field. to make sure everything is not just straight through our 1 hour, 30 minutes. Make sure they enjoy it.
The other thing I wanted to add to that, the other thing I want to add to that, Coach, is I remember during the spring season, when the weather was hot, the coaches, Coach Tommy actually made it a point of duty to ask the ref to have a mandatory water break.
Yeah, that's normal, standard.
So
standard, there has to be a water break, standard. There's a water break, they're not going to play throughout. In fact, some games they cut it to 4. Water break, come back, water break, come back, water break, come back. That's standard for any league. And the same thing you're going to do as a coach. You're going to make sure if it's too hard, you're going to practice 20 minutes out, 20 minutes in, and make sure it's enjoyable. And thank you for that question. It's very important because you cannot just be in an environment where your kids just play and no water, nothing. No. In fact, we tell them in summer camp, this summer is hard at this. You don't have to ask a coach before you go and get the water. If you decide you want to go and get water, go. If you want to go and sit down, sit down. And summer is, we did it in June, July, and it's about to end now. Okay. Did I answer the question right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone, for sparing us an hour of your afternoon. We really appreciate your commitment to getting your children engaged in sports. And for those who are new in our program, we pray and hope that you find this to be a very good community that you want to be a part of. And so we look forward to seeing you all on the 14th. And if you have any questions for those who are interested in basketball, which starts on the 21st, definitely 6 p.m. on the 14th, we'll be on the field. We can always address any of your questions. You can even come out there to come see what's happening on the fields, the turf and all of that stuff that is out there. So looking forward to it and very excited for what this season is going to bring, and see you at the field. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Branduka, thank you.